Homelander, the unhinged Supe who served as the primary antagonist for the majority of The Boys' run, respected just one character in the entire franchise, and rather than one of his teammates on the Seven, he actually extended his begrudging esteem to Billy Butcher, the sworn enemy of all superpowered characters. The Boys No. 5, written by Garth Ennis, with art by Derek Robertson, emphasized that, despite the violently antagonistic nature of their relationship, Homelander respected Butcher, the leader of the Boys, recognizing him as a worthy and dangerous opponent. Considering that series would subsequently make it clear that Homelander was a super narcissist with his self-centeredness bordering on solipsism, who essentially held all life in contempt, it is worth taking note of his early acknowledgement of Billy Butcher. With the complete arc of The Boys in mind, it adds a dimension of complexity to where both characters ultimately ended up. In The Boys No. 5, the members of the Seven are depicted holding a meeting, during which Homelander brings up the fact that Billy Butcher has been harassing Supes lately, targeting other super teams, while strategically avoiding the Seven. Homelander is worried that Butcher will eventually come after them, as he all but warns his fellow teammates that Butcher is someone who never slows down, never stops, and never makes a mistake, and will unrelentingly continue his crusade against Supes until they are all destroyed or he is. This scene in The Boys No. 5 serves to reiterate to readers that there is history between the Seven and the Boys, backstory that was slowly revealed to the audience as the series progressed. At this early stage of the comics run, the true extent of Homelander's character was not fully understood by fans or perhaps even by the franchise's creators, but his acknowledgement of Billy Butcher's brutal effectiveness fits with the full picture of both characters offered by the series. Above all else, Homelander, especially during the early run of The Boys, was committed to preserving his power and perpetuating his lifestyle. It makes sense that he would take a pragmatic view of the threat posed by Butcher and the Boys, though his increasing desperation and emotion in the face of the war on Supes proved to be an essential facet of the arc of the series. Still, in The Boys No. 5, the leader of the Seven remains calm, resolutely diagnosing a threat and refusing to downplay its severity. A version of Homelander that dismissed Butcher as a threat early in The Boys would have turned out to be a very different character as the story progressed. It stands out that his first inclination is to pay Butcher something along the lines of a compliment, the likes of which he gives no other character in the entire The Boys series, not even his teammates. This moment in The Boys No. 5 also served as an earlier indicator that there was more in common between Butcher and Homelander than either would readily admit. This was perhaps most potently exhibited by the physical power dynamic between the Butcher and Homelander, and by extension, the anti-superhero Boys squad and the Supes they opposed. Though Billy Butcher relentlessly sought the destruction of all superpowered individuals, in order to achieve this, he had to become what he hated most. By dosing themselves with Compound V, the team acquired their own limited super strength and durability in order to go toe-to-toe with Supes, technically making the Boys Supes themselves. This complex dynamic was integral to the Boys, something that Homelander's respect for Butcher also accentuates. The Boys is best known as a satire, and while that reputation is absolutely warranted, the firm dramatic underpinnings of Garth Ennis' story shouldn't be neglected. A wholly irreverent satire might have made Homelander respond to the threat of the Boys with petulance from the start, but Ennis made sure to ground the series dramatically before allowing it to go off the rails in the most narratively satisfying way possible. Again, Homelander's opinion of Billy Butcher, as stated in The Boys No. 5, is a solid example of that. This is what makes it especially notable that the most powerful Supe in the series, Homelander, respected only one character, and it was not one of his superhero colleagues, such as the Wonder Woman analog Queen Maeve, or Batman dupe Black Noir, but rather Billy Butcher. As it approaches its own climactic ending, The Boys TV series will certainly offer at least one more major confrontation between Butcher and Homelander, and if it can further accentuate the respect the leader of the Seven holds for the Boys' head, the show can only be stronger for it. Though the ending of The Boys will diverge significantly from the final act of the comic, the Homelander-Butcher dynamic remains crucial. As adversaries, they present one of the most tense, emotionally charged feuds in the history of the superhero genre, and while it is a conflict driven by hatred on both sides, the added complexity of Homelander's respect for Butcher makes it even more exciting. So much of the story of The Boys comes down to how Homelander and Butcher stack up against one another, and the Supe's assessment of his enemy in The Boys No. 5 was pivotal to establishing that.